Okay, so Time Remnants. Ever since these things first came out in Season 2 of The Flash, everybody's been trying to figure out exactly what they are and how they work. So if you're still confused, let me explain. The concept of a Time Remnant first showed up in Season 2, Episode 11, titled The Reverse Flash Returns. In the episode, the Reverse Flash, who was previously thought to have been erased from existence in Season 1, has seemingly returned from the dead and is running around again as if nothing has changed. This leads to a scene where Earth 2 Harrison Wells explains the concept of a Time Remnant as...
show you. This is now. Here. Today. This is the time Thawne comes from. This is the moment you all erased him from existence, but since Thawne is from the future, this is where his timeline begins. That's why he's still alive. This Thawne has not yet traveled back in time to kill Barry's mother. He's here now in this time period for the first time. Timeline Remnant.
Now, on the surface, this might seem like it makes sense, even if it's a little bit confusing, but believe it or not, this whole thing is wrong. Aside from the fact that this doesn't even fit with the definition of the term Time Remnant, this episode only shows the natural progression of events for Eobard's timeline as a time traveler, not as a time remnant, as we've seen later in the season. Let's just describe Eobard's timeline just so we can get everything clarified. Now, first, Eobard existed in the future. He traveled back in time, as we see in this episode, to 2016, and then was sent back to the future. He goes back even further in time to kill Nora Allen, gets stranded then he dies during the first season's finale. Now, if he were a time remnant like we see in this season's finale, then capturing him wouldn't affect anything. For instance, how does capturing a guy from a time that doesn't exist make Cisco nearly vanish into thin air?
When you captured Reverse Flash, we ruptured the timeline. That's what this, all the blood and the seizures and all, Cisco is being affected by the changes to the timeline, the changes to the past and the changes to the present. This is what this is.
How does sending a time remnant into a portal to an apparently non-existent timeline ensure that past events would happen as normal?
This is where he learns about you, all of you. It's how he knows about S.T.A.R Labs, how he knows about me, Harrison Wells from this Earth. This is his origin story, and it's going to happen. No matter what you do, you can send him back to his time and then move on with your life.
How does a guy from the future travel to a 2016 that's not even in his own timeline?
Get in.
Was the trip a success, Professor Thawne?
I believe it was. I finally figured out what time period the Flash is from.
There you go. He's not actually a time remnant, he's just a time traveler. So how exactly is he alive after the first season finale? Honestly, in my own personal theory, I think he and his future were sort of bumped by the Speed Force into the timeline of the TV show. See, we know that the Speed Force is a living, conscious force of energy, and it doesn't like when time is screwed around with. It uses entities like the Time Wraiths to punish speedsters who disrupt the natural flow of things, so it makes sense that it would have a way to fix paradoxes in the timeline. The original timeline Reverse Flash, traveling back in time to any point before the original change, Nora Allen's death, wouldn't actually arrive in the TV show's timeline because the timelines aren't connected in that way. Without the Speed Force involved, there's no way the Reverse Flash could appear in Season 2, Episode 11. Now, the first true Time Remnant we actually see in Season 2, Episode 1, titled The Man Who Saved Central City, when Hunter Zolomon used his Time Remnant, calling him Jay Garrick, to infiltrate Team Flash. Of course, we all know Jay is eventually killed by Zoom, and it's later revealed that this was all part of the plan to make Barry faster. As explained by Zoom himself in episode 18,
I knew that I couldn't be on two Earths at the same time, so I went back in time and met another version of myself.
Your Time Remnant, like the Reverse Flash.
I also knew that the only way to make Barry become faster was if you all witnessed your old pal Jay die.
When did you decide to do that?
Oh, once you closed all the breaches, went to Earth 2. Believe me, getting my Time Remnant to agree to me murdering him took a bit of convincing. But once he saw the genius in my plan, he was all for it.
Now see, this automatically makes it different than episode 11, because if Zoom went back in time to get his Time Remnant, then how does his future self still exist? In episode 23, titled The Race of His Life, Barry Allen creates a time remnant of his own during the race against Zoom. While the original Barry chases after Zoom and fights with him and goes through all that, the time remnant destroys Zoom's machine, killing himself in the process. Therefore, A time remnant, as presented in the show, is a remnant of a parallel timeline. The Reverse Flash doesn't technically qualify because too many pieces of evidence point to him just being a regular time traveler. Now, the creation of a time remnant happens when a time traveler, powered by the Speed Force, travels back in time, splitting the timeline, such as with this example. Timeline 1. The Flash begins the race against Zoom to stop the destruction of the multiverse. The Flash travels back in time when he realizes he needs an extra bit of help to stop Zoom. Timeline 2. The Flash begins the race against Zoom to stop the destruction of the multiverse. The Flash from Timeline 1, a remnant of a timeline that no longer exists due to time travel, appears to help Timeline 2 Flash against Zoom. Timeline 2 Flash fights with Zoom, while Timeline 1 Flash sacrifices himself to save everyone. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to click that like button, maybe leave me a comment while you're at it, and go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to check out any of my social media pages. I've got a Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. All those links are going to be in the description below. And I've also got my last video right there in the middle of your screen, so if you want to check that out, go ahead and click it, check it out. Alright, and I will see you all next time.